Good afternoon. It is January 8th, and we are back at it again. I got my coding mode playlist ready to fire. Nice big jug of water with an electrolyte packet because I feel dehydrated. And evals are the topic of the week. If you remember from yesterday, I'm continuing working through the validation of the LLM as judge scores. So just going through instances that they've judged, determining whether the quality that they're rating matches what I would deem the quality from the original like problem generation, which is like the step beforehand from the AI that's being judged. And yeah, it's just more of the same, but today's a little different because I have a little bit more free time. So I'm just going to cue up this music, drink this water, and go through it. And yeah, there's not much else to say except for the fact that I really want to get this done by Saturday. And I think a lot of today's progress will determine how much we're on track for Saturday, which ideally we're right on track. All right, we're going to get to it. All right, so I just need to talk about this while it's going through. It's evals and test all the way down, baby. I realized I should start writing unit tests for my scorers so that I can just outline a bunch of edge cases and run through them. And the best part is I don't have to write these unit tests. I have an LLM write the unit test for me. It comes up with a bunch of distinct edge cases, and then I go through verifying whether those edge cases are how I'd expect it to score, which is really nice because not only am I ground truthing it, going through the process of ground truthing this to how I think things should be scored for the actual problem set, but I also have unit tests that will verify as time goes on the scores remain accurate. And just doing this, I have a unit test of there's 14 different situations for this one specific scorer I just created. If you're interested, the scorer or the LLM is judge basically judges interleaving between a problem set. Studies show that if you interleave recall versus skill-based problems, students will retain the information better. And so I came up with the score, and I thought, this is a pretty decent score. And immediately I had Gemini come up with a bunch of edge cases, and there's a bunch of scenarios where I thought, okay, maybe this isn't how I'd want it to score in this scenario. So I've been reworking that and workshopping it, and it's just making the score better. And it's all within this unit test that I get to do this work. And afterwards, then I get to go onward with the manual verification of the actual problems that are being generated and matching that up to the scores. But this is even step 0 to that is set up some unit tests for the evaluators, and then it won't be as I already have all the edge cases covered, right? Because I can just create those in unit tests. And now the data distribution will shift, right, depending on the material and so on and so forth. But I at least know the edge case of a certain scenario of inputs is covered in the abstract, which is nice. All right, yeah, I'm getting back to it. All right, done for the day. Got a couple of tips, some other stuff that worked out really well. The first of which being I added some reasoning traces to the output of the LLMs as judge because I found as I was trying to match up the score, and I was trying to understand why it scored a specific way. Why not just have the LLM explain it to me? So I just added a reasoning trace, and that was immensely helpful. I noticed I was going through problems 5 times faster. I would just look at the reasoning, see if it matched up to what I saw, and yeah, that was great. Now, potentially, I could have some false negatives or false positives because if it doesn't mention, if I don't look at the problem set first and then use that to match the score, some problems could arise. Having said that, I'm still looking into detail at the actual outputs, and there's enough of to still improve on even with just this. I could probably do a second pass later, but I don't think I'll actually need to. The second thing was, I wrote it down here just for you. Oh yeah, how many scores you should have. So one thing that I came across was determining whether I wanted one score to to validate or to score the like the optimal sequencing, like I was saying earlier, but also if problems are unique and like including that. And I found I could just keep thinking on more and more things to bundle into a specific scorer, and eventually it would just, that number would mean so much it'd be hard to unpack. So for now, I'm gonna lean towards having more scores or more LLMs as judges, so that I can have different dimensions to optimize on. And it's okay if the sequencing, for example, doesn't necessarily determine if the entire problem set is unique and vice versa, because I'll have those different dimensions to look at, and hopefully an LLM to look at and optimize against. So yeah, that's it for today. I'm going to tidy up some stuff here. Just still going through it, but as I'm going through it more, I'm just, like, getting these tiny little tips that are saving me some time, but also just making it easier to work with. The three of today being write unit tests for your scores, use an LLM to outline a bunch of edge cases that you didn't think of. Add a reasoning trace to the output of the score, which is really easy to just validate if the actual scores. And then thirdly, keeping as many dimensions as possible. That I've yet to confirm if it's the best way to do it, but we'll see. I'll consolidate later if I really need to. And yeah, that's it for today. I will see you tomorrow.